My Uncle Ben first introduced me to stones. For my 10th birthday, he sent me a collection of unusual stones. A geode, some fool's gold, and this, a fossilized dinosaur gizzard stone. Those other stones got lost in the garbage dump of history. But this stone, well, I have managed to keep it now for over 60 years. I continue to hold it, to rub it, to feel it. It is my lucky dinosaur gizzard stone. By the time I entered the rabbinate, I'd become a stone collector. Never the geologically interesting ones, but rather ones with interesting shapes or feels, and usually stones with meaning. See this stone? I picked it up in St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where our family has gone for many years. Each time I hold it, I'm reminded of one of my favorite beaches there. This stone comes from Jerusalem. It is one of the most important stones in my life. Now, in truth, it's not this particular stone that has meaning, but rather it is the type of stone that is significant, namely Jerusalem stone. For what I love about this stone, in fact, what I love about all my stones, are their emotional meaning. As I touch Jerusalem stone, I think of our people's commitment to our faith. When I hold my St. John stone, I can hear the water washing up on the shore and over these rocks. And when I hold my petrified dinosaur gizzard stone, I think of my Uncle Ben. This afternoon, I hope you are holding in your hands another stone. If you have the stone that I gave to you, that I mailed to you, or you picked up on the way in, I ask you to take it out now and to hold it. It's a gift from me to you. As many of you know, it's traditional to place a small stone on the grave of a loved one when visiting. Now, we do so for many reasons. It's a physical act. It's an act of caring. It's an act of connection. But the stone you hold, what's its meaning? Well, a story will help explain. My father died 55 years ago. I was only 15. 2 years later, I found myself in Israel for the very first time as part of a summer-long teen program. The first time we went to the Kotel, something deep inside told me to say a prayer. And the only prayer I could think of was Kaddish. I knew Kaddish well, too well. My father had said Kaddish each day for his parents when they died. Occasionally, I accompanied him to the service. Then when my father died, I accepted the obligation for myself to recite Kaddish. I went each night for a year and joined the minyan of mourners at our synagogue. Often, on the way home, I would stop by the congregation's cemetery, place a stone on my dad's bronze marker, and I would say Kaddish again. As I stood there at the Kotel and started to recite Kaddish, I realized just how much I missed my father. Tears welled up and began to flow, for I knew that my dad would never wrap his arms around my shoulders. Same way that I saw other fathers and sons doing before me. Such sadness I had rarely known in my young life. As I turned, dejected, I kicked a small pebble. And without thinking, I reached down and I picked it up. It was smooth. It was cool. It was age-worn. It spoke to me of that sacred spot, of all the centuries of Jews who came to the wall to have their prayers heard on high. It spoke to me of my own journey. It spoke to me of my father. All that in one little stone. I stuffed that small stone in my backpack and kept it there for the duration of my trip. Upon returning home, one afternoon I walked the 4 short blocks to our congregation's cemetery, found my father's grave, and placed that same stone on the bronze marker. Some small way, my father's arms reached around me and held me tightly. I left that stone there that day, but in a way I wish I hadn't. For you see, I've experienced much in my life since that time. My ordination as a rabbi, marrying my wonderful bride, Leslie, witnessing the birth of our 2 children, Ilana and William, their career successes, their marriages, our grandchildren, the many places that I've been privileged to visit, all events I would have loved to have shared with my father. On each of those occasions, on so many more, I wish I had held on to that stone, to share that moment with my father by viscerally being able to touch the stone. That stone was my connection. It was my bridge. Many years ago, that dilemma was solved for me. How to leave a stone out of respect and yet keep hold of our shared memory. The suggestion was made to take 2 stones of similar size and shape. Put one on the grave, put the other one on the grave, and then take it and put it in your pocket. Then as we go about life, experiencing both joy and pain, a new sunset, a sweet sound, illness, sadness, even just a quiet pause in the day, grasp that stone. And in this way, our loved one remains with us, sharing with us, enriching the moment. As wonderful a tryst as this was on our tradition, I was never able to experience it. I had not been home in Kansas City for 30 years. I had not visited my dad's grave in all that time. Shortly after coming back to Kansas City 21 years ago to become the rabbi of the congregation in which I was raised, I made the trip back to the cemetery. I found my dad's grave with little effort. I took 2 stones out of my pocket, similar shape and size, placed both on that bronze marker, picked this one up, and placed it back in my pocket. And now, I keep this in my pocket, this small stone, as I go about life. When I touch it, when I feel it, when I rub it, all the memories of things I've done and places I have gone become intermingled with the memories of my father. though gone these many years. The small stone remains my connection. It is my bridge. And now a PS to the story. You don't have anywhere to go, do you? My mom died. My mom died this past year. She was my hero. She was my cheerleader. And I was privileged to have her for almost 70 years. In one of our last conversations, my mom, who always knew what she wanted and always knew how to get her kids to do what she wanted, asked me to place 3 small stones at the cemetery where she was going to be buried. Her funeral was easier to do than this. She wanted me to place 1 on each of her husband's graves, my father and my stepfather, and 1 on her grave. And my last promise to her, I said I would. Sorry. So on the day that we buried my mom, I took 3 small stones, 1 each for my dad, my stepdad, and my mom. I brought with me 3 more. I placed all 6, 2 each on those graves, and then quietly placed these 3 in my pocket. And now, I have a whole collection of stones I keep to remind me and to inspire me. So the stone that I sent you, or the stone that you were handed as you came into services, this is my gift to you. A stone I hope you will fill with meaning. Think of those who have gone before you, parents, siblings, spouses, children, partners, friends. Think of the moments you have longed to share with them, your own moments of doubt and darkness, your moments of joy and unbridled happiness, moments of awe and even moments of wonder. And now, place your memories of your loved one in your stone. Let it warm your hand. Let it nourish your soul. May the stone you hold in your hand bring comfort and joy. May it be a stone that builds memory, a stone as a connection, a stone with meaning, a stone that supports us along our journey through the gates.